Hey everybody, it's Robyn and welcome to the Robyn's Nest. So today on my channel I have something a little bit different planned for you guys. I had a little bit of free time, so I thought it was about time to do a request cake. So I went through all my comments and apparently you guys really want to see me make a Peppa Pig cake. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now I wasn't sure which style to go with this. I first thought maybe a single layer, sort of 2D style to match the cartoon basically. But then I thought that would be too simple. So I'm going to attempt to make a character head cake. Now this could look really good, or this could look really silly because Peppa Pig is a 2D character and I'm going to attempt to make her 3D. So I don't know, but I have faith, so I'm going to give it a go. So let's get into it. Alright, so before I get started, I just want to give you guys a quick apology. I'm not sure if you guys are picking up on all this background noise here, but Hurricane Teddy is upon us here on the east coast of Canada, and it is extremely windy outside. But the show must go on. And fear not, I have my generator, lots of food and water, and most importantly, I have my storm chips, so I'm all set. So we're going to start out by leveling out our layers. And as you can see, I've baked up 3 6-inch vanilla cake layers, and I've dyed them pink to match Peppa. And I've also baked up one smaller 3-inch cake layer, and that's going to be Peppa's snout. So we're going to start by leveling these out using my cake leveler, and then we're going to start stacking and filling our layers. Alright, so once you finish leveling out your first 3 layers, we're going to switch over to our snout, but we're going to do this one a little bit differently. We're going to cut this into 2 layers, and we're going to actually flip it over on its side, because this is how it's going to be stacked onto the cake, and we're going to cut it in this direction. I'm just going to use my cake leveler to cut it in 2. So to fill our layers and ice our whole cake for that matter, we're going to be using a pink vanilla American buttercream today. And when I think pink, I think strawberry. So I wanted my cake to taste how it looks. So I flavored my buttercream with a tiny little bit of strawberry candy oil, and it smells amazing. So we're just going to start out by taking a little bit on our spatula, and we're going to apply that to our cake board and use that to secure our cake. Then we're going to proceed to fill and stack our layers. Alright, so now that we've reached the top of our second layer, here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Because we're going to be adding a snout to the side of our cake that's made of cake, it's going to need some support because that's going to be heavy. So the first thing we're going to do is add some supports into our cake, and I'm just going to be using some plastic straws, probably 3 or 4 of them. And then we're going to be adding this cake card, which I've modified to the shape I need. Now once I place this in between my second and third layer, this little notch is going to stay out on the side, and this is going to serve to support the weight of her snout. Now once you finish filling your layers and your cake card is in place, it's time to start working on the snout. So the first thing we're going to do is take a little bit of buttercream and we're going to fill our tiny little layer. Then I'm going to take a knife and we're just going to trim it down a little bit because it is much too big for the size of our cake. Then I'm going to take a couple of toothpicks and a little buttercream and we're going to secure that into place. And if I'm not happy 100% with how that looks, I may mix up a little bit of cake pop mixture and just fill in those nooks and crannies and smooth it out a little bit to make it look a little bit better. I'm not 100% sure yet though, so we'll have to see. But once I'm finished with that and I'm completely happy with how everything looks, I'm going to pop that into the fridge to chill really well, and when it's ready we should be able to start carving. Alright, so our cake has been thoroughly chilled. I left it in the fridge for approximately 2 hours to make sure that it's cold all the way through, so now it should be perfect for carving. So we took care of most of the shape with our cake pop mixture on the top and around the snout, but I still want the head to be a little bit more rounded. So we're going to trim a little bit off the edge here, clean up the sides a little bit, and taper in the bottom. And I'm just going to use a small serrated knife to do the job. Alright, I am feeling really good about this. I think it looks so good, even better than I thought it would. I'm so pleasantly surprised. But the hard part's not over yet. Anybody who has ever carved a cake before knows just how hard it can be to cover said cake with icing without tearing that cake apart. And that's what we're going to be attempting next. So while I'm applying our crumb coat, I would love to hear about some of your guys' trials and tribulations. And you can drop me some of them stories down below. Alright, so our crumb coat's firmed up and it's time for our final coat of icing. And we're going to be applying that in the same fashion we used to apply our first coat of icing, using a small flexible plastic smoother. Now once I'm finished and my cake looks like I want it to, I'm going to pop it back into the fridge to chill and allow it to fully crust over for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. Then when my cake is ready, we're going to bring it back and I'm going to show you guys how I smooth out my buttercream. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how I smooth out my buttercream. And as you can see, I've done most of the cake already, and I think that looks really good. And I just used a small piece of flexible acetate, held in a rigid position, and I just drug it ever so slightly across the imperfections on the cake, and it just kind of buffs them out. So I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of an example of what I do. And it just works really well, I find. And you can do this on a freshly iced cake. It doesn't have to be crusted over, but I do prefer the crusting method first because I find it keeps the icing from shifting around on the cake too much. So you're just going to keep buffing these all out until you're happy with how it looks. Then I'm going to pop this back in the fridge and we're going to start working on our fondant decorations. So before I get started on the decorations, I just wanted to mention that we're going to be going for more of a 2D version of Peppa Pig. Now, I was looking at some pictures online of Peppa Pig dolls, and I really wasn't too fond of how the 3D image portrays her. I really want to go for that 2D cartoon image. It's very attractive. And I think I know how I'm going to do it. Hopefully it works out. You'll have to bear with me. So I'm going to start out by making her ears first, and I'm just simply going to freehand all of our decorations at a fondant, and I'm going to apply them on the cake as I go. So when I'm all finished, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Well, here she is, guys. It's Peppa Pig, and isn't she cute? I think this cake is so adorable, and it looks just like the cartoon. Mind you, it is a perspective cake, so it doesn't look good from all angles, only from front on, but I think it looks super cool, and I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I really hope you guys all like it too. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that big thumbs up button and leave me lots of love in the comment section too, and if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you receive a notification every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.